The competition between the two premier candidates is getting fiercer. We have more on this story in this analysis report.
The gloves have come off in the election campaign. The Democrat Party is facing attacks over its cozy relationship with the military, while the opposition Pheu Thai Party is now having to defend Yingluck Shinawat's background. The Democrats are using the planned amnesty for the fugitive former Premier Thaksin Shinawat as the main weapon. The ruling party has urged the public not to be manipulated by Pheu Thai because its rival has a four-step ladder strategy to bring Thaksin back to power. The 4 steps are winning the ballot, forming the next government, issuing an amnesty, and dissolving the House to pave the way for Thaksin to return as Prime Minister. Attacks on the amnesty plan coincide with efforts to hold Yingluck legally responsible for alleged perjury or lying to a court during the Thaksin as a seizure campaign. The multicolored group and Galsan Atipoti, who is a former member of the now defunct Assets Examination Committee, have sought a legal probe on the alleged offense, which could give Yingluck problems in the future. Pheu Thai hit back by launching fierce attacks on the Democrats, claiming they had an illegitimate rise to power in late 2008. They claim Prime Minister Abhisit took office with help from the military. Some columnists in the Thai media attacked Abhisit on the issue, which urged the Premier to clarify what happened on his Facebook page on Monday. Comparing the two candidates for the premiership, Yingluck seemed to handle the issue better than Abhisit. She looks gentle and calm, while her rival Abhisit looks more aggressive. Yingluck, who is the younger sister of Thaksin, shrugged off the Democrat Party's claim that an amnesty for her brother was her top priority. She insisted that any amnesty in the future would not be for the benefit of Thaksin alone. Meanwhile, Abhisit said he came to power purely with the support of MPs, not the military. But those in the anti-government camp don't buy it. The Prime Minister said in his Facebook, in quotes, "I don't know who might have made a deal with the military, but I have never talked to any military officers about the matter myself. Perhaps it's fortunate that Yingluck is a woman. Ladies always gain more advantage than men do when it comes to being attacked by political rivals. However, the attack from both arch rivals is good for voters in deciding for whom they will vote. But voters have to keep in mind that politicians are the last people to trust, no matter what they promise." Jintana Panya Awut and Lepong Amsengiem, The Nation Analysis for Asean TV.
And now we will take a short break, but after the break, Vietnam propagates peaceful policy and legal strain on Spratly Island issues. Stay tuned for more details.
We are back with international news. The European Commission has proposed giving at least 150 million euros in compensation to farmers hit by the deadly E. coli outbreak. EU agriculture ministers have been holding crisis talks amid criticisms of Germany's handling of the outbreak. But Germany's health ministers have said the worst could not be over. Producers of salad vegetables have seen sales plummet during the outbreak, which has killed 24 people and sickened nearly 2,400. Faced with unprecedented E. coli outbreak, a team of German doctors is trying a new tactic, which is an experimental antibiotic therapy that some fear could do more harm than good. The antibiotic treatment has shown initial success, but concerns about possibly fatal side effects remained, and there are even worries that the therapy could cause the bacteria to mutate into a super-resistant strain. medical director at the Asklepios Hospital in Hamburg, in the northern city at the epicenter of the outbreak, says that with the patient's life at stake, the antibiotic therapy he's using is worth the risk. Most bacterial infections are treated using antibiotics, but officials at the World Health Organization, or WHO, and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, typically recommend against using them in E. coli cases because they can cause the bacteria to release more toxins. There is also a chance the bacteria might develop resistance to antibiotics, making it even more dangerous and difficult to contain. But both WHO and CDC say the use of antibiotics to fight the E. coli may be warranted in exceptional cases. The only conventional treatments for E. coli are drinking water and intravenous fluid replacements, but heart and molars more aggressive methods are necessary because of the risks of HUS, which can cause daily kidney failure and has hit an unprecedented number of people in the outbreak. In addition to antibiotics, the Asklepios Clinic has been implementing massive blood plasma exchange programs on patients.
And now taking a look on Vietnam, as Vietnam has propagated peaceful policies and legal strength on disputed Spratly Island issue. During the regional defense dialogue held at Shangri-La Security in Singapore, Vietnam's defense minister took up full stance on promoting defensive and peaceful policies for the nation and the region as a whole, including a strong legal basis. It was believed that the maritime dispute was settled down. Phung Quang Thanh reiterated that Vietnam's defense policies are directed at peace and self-defense. They hold the line of expanding cooperative relations to militaries, both inside and outside the region, for the sake of promoting mutual understanding and respect, collaborating in activities to respond to common security threats, including those from the sea. He added Vietnam considers its national security closely linked to regional and international security. In terms of legal basis, Thanh spoke with conference to the recent clash on the Spratly Islands. He said Vietnam has experienced patience in managing an incident with peaceful means in accordance with the international laws. According to Thanh, every nation must strengthen the legal basis for its activities at sea in order to facilitate cooperation and deter actions that threaten common interests regionally and internationally. This mechanism is to further bring about ASEAN solidarity and unity.
Public Health Minister Jurin Laksana Visit ordered officials at Suvarnabhumi Airport to contact 13 European airlines yesterday to distribute a brochure about the E. coli bug after the deadly bacteria killed at least 22 people, mostly in Germany. The health department will also distribute a leaflet to restaurants and members of the public on how to properly wash fruit and vegetables. Although a meeting at the ministry's war room reported yesterday that the E. coli outbreak remained in 12 countries, Durin said his office was taking a number of precautionary moves. They plan to distribute the E. coli 104M brochure to some 3,000 to 5,000 travelers arriving on 15 to 20 flights a day from 13 European countries. The brochure suggests that people who have diarrhea, bloody mucus in their stool, or symptoms of kidney failure, such as nausea, vomiting, and acute lack of urine, to see a doctor immediately.
And coming up next, Australia looks to widen links with ASEAN. More details after the break.
If you have education, you can face anyone on the planet Earth. my house was destroyed by a mortar. And then my mother was crying. And my father said, don't cry. I have educated them, all of them, so they will do well.
ข้าพเจ้าเป็นลูกชาวนาพ่อแม่ก็บ่ฮู้หนังสือแต่ย้อนการศึกษาพาให้ข้าพเจ้าได้มีวิธีงานทำและสามารถเข้าสู่เวทีการเมืองได้แล้วก็ก้าวมาเป็นรัฐมนตรีศึกษาได้
UNESCO is the lead agency for education for all, which is the second Millennium Development Goal.
My country has only 10 years old. We have around 60% of our population still illiterate. We are now trying to make sure that by 2015, illiteracy could be eradicated in my country.
We need to do more for education. It's not a matter of privilege. It should be the right for all people to not only be educated, but also to acquire knowledge.
It's important not just for the development of the individual, but also for the development of the nation.
ผมจบการศึกษาในระดับประถมศึกษาในชนบทนะครับและแน่นอนไม่มีเครื่องมืออื่นใดที่จะเปลี่ยนแปลงคนให้คนได้พัฒนาและมีความเจริญรุ่งเรืองมีแต่เรื่องการศึกษาเท่านั้นจะเป็นเครื่องมือที่สำคัญนะครับ
Why everybody have the right to education? Because that's the only way to ensure everyone's have a better life.
Education for all
is a human right.
It is our responsibility